Call Allah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai Mashiach, Barakatah Yasharallah, Barakatah Yahweh, Call Allah, Shalom, Shalom, Halawayah, Halawayah. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone, pushing and teaching this truth and sincerity, and overseeing the construction of the tabernacle of David, a more perfect tabernacle. Shalom to the Akim, while Baphium scattered abroad. Shalom to the still believers. This is Yahweh Sat, Ban Yasharallah, Ban Yahweh, coming to you live through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Shai. Salakia. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Give another lesson. Just gonna talk about the truth. This is First Esdras chapter. This is First Esdras. This is First Esdras chapter 3, verse 1. Now when Darius resigned, he made a great feast unto all the subjects, and all the household, and all the princes of Media and Persia. Darius is the king of the Median Persian Empire, which overthrew the Babylonian Empire, which is talked about in the book of Daniel, just for context. In chapter 3, verse 2. And to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him from India unto Ethiopia, of 127 promises. And when they had eaten and drunken, and being satisfied were gone home, then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept, and soon after awakened. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake to one another, Let every one of us speak a sentence, and he that shall overcome, whose sentence shall seem wiser than others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory. First Esdras chapter 3, verse 7. First, so basically, these 3 servants are they're entering into a competition to please King Darius, who is the king of the Medo-Persian Empire, and basically they're trying to see who's the wisest in order to gain favor in the sight of Darius. And so. First Esdras chapter 3, verse 8. And then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius' pillow, and said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writings, and whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge the sentence is the wisest. To him shall the victory be given, as was appointed. Alright, and it goes on to say, the first wrote, wine is the strongest. The second wrote, the king is the strongest. The third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth the victory. Now when the king was risen up, they took their writings and delivered them unto him, and so he read them. And sending forth, he called all the princes of Persia and Media, and the governors and the captains and lieutenants and the chief officers, and sat them down in the royal seat of judgment, and the writings were read before them. So basically, the king, he was like, okay. He called all his people. His underlings, he called them up, said we about to judge who's gonna be the wisest. Now this whole competition takes a couple chapters, so I'm just gonna skip to the point of of who wins the contest and what he says. So I'm gonna go to First Esdras chapter 4, verse 33. So then the king and the princes looked one upon the other, so he began to speak of the truth. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course, for he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things. All the earth calleth upon the truth, and the heaven blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works. And there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. So what's being established here is this young man. He's his statement was that women are the strongest, but above all things, truth beareth the victory. And he elaborates in First Esdras chapter 4 verse 34. He says no, First Esdras chapter 4 verse 37. He says, "Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works, and there is no truth in them." Because that's true. That's a very powerful statement, and it's a very righteous statement and correct statement. You know, the ways of the wicked man are wickedness. I think the book. Let me see. Thanks. Alright, so this is the book of James chapter 5, the book of James chapter 1 verse 5. It says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, not wavering, for he that wavereth, who that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." And he goes on to say, Salaki, okay, and then he goes on to say in James chapter 3 verse 14. I'm gonna start at James chapter 3 verse 13. "Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom." And what did this man say? In First Esdras chapter 4, verse 37, he said, "Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works, and there is no truth in them." And that's what makes them wicked and unrighteous, because there's no truth in them. And what does James say in chapter 3, verse 13? He says, "Who is a wise man? Wise and wisdom is the proper application of knowledge." When you have knowledge, you have the knowledge of the Bible. More importantly, when you have the truth of the Bible, that brings about the knowledge. Knowledge brings about wisdom. And he says, "Who is a wise man and a doer of knowledge among you?" Question mark. "Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish." Talking about the wisdom about again, basically being blasphemous, because you got to peep what he says. He says, "But if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth." He goes on to elaborate what lying against the truth is. Lying against the truth is the wisdom that descendeth not from above, because the truth, ultimately the truth of this Bible, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes from the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, in the name of his Son, the Anointed One. And it says, "This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish." And what is it? I think it's Ecclesiasticus. I think it's 3:28. is it? Okay. It's like it. The book of Sirach, book of Sirach says that it just basically says that dang, what is? I forgot what verse. It's like it. I forgot the verse, but in the book of Sirach, it basically says, about how people how people how people give way into vain thoughts, like vain thoughts and vain thinking, and it goes on to say that evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment. I thought it was 3:28. I thought it was 3:28. But Salakia, Salakia for that. But it goes on to say in James chapter 3 verse 16, it says, "For where envy and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace." So going back to 1 Esdras chapter 4, he says, "There is no truth in them, and their unrighteousness also they shall perish." But peep this, 1 Esdras chapter 4 verse 38. "As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore." Why? Because the truth comes from above, like it says in James chapter 3 verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure. You know what I'm saying? It's holy. It's righteous. It endureth forever. You know what I'm saying? I think that the book of Psalms talks about it. It says Psalms chapter 119, verse 149. Psalms 119, verse 149. "Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth." And he goes on to say in verse 144, "The righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live." You know what I'm saying? But the most important thing it says in 119, 151, "Thou art near, O Lord, and all thy commandments are truth." You know what I'm saying? And that's really what the truth is. Following this Bible. This Bible is the truth. Christianity, the Christianity lens and theology, the Christianity doctrine, the Islamic doctrine, all these doctrines are man-made, but the meat and potatoes of the Bible is the truth. These are the holy scriptures. The law of the Lord is perfect. You know what I'm saying? And it endureth forever. And that's why you see in this day and age, more and more people are coming to the realization that Christianity is a lie, but the Bible is the truth. You gotta put off that Christian lens, and it's very profitable to consider yourself a Hebrew Israelite. Most importantly, because I think Paul talks about it in Romans. I think it's Romans 3 verse 9. Romans. This is Romans chapter 3 verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Peep this, verse 2. Much every way, chiefly. So what Paul is saying is the Jew indeed has an advantage in every way, but the most important advantage that the Jew has is unto them were committed the oracles of God. And that's why it's very profitable to consider yourself a Hebrew Israelite, and not only consider yourself a Hebrew Israelite, but walk in His truth and sincerity and humbleness. Because nobody can understand this Bible like we can. Starting with the head elder apostles, elder apostle Tahar, elder apostle Gabar, elder apostle Ramlab. If I pronounce his name wrong, Salakia. All the way down to the brothers that come into the truth day by day. We understand. We are given opportunity to understand this Bible in a way that nobody else can. Because to us, we're committed to oracles of God. And going back to First Esdras chapter 4, First Esdras chapter 4 verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. It's everlasting. 39. With her, there is no accepting of persons or rewards. Meaning it's not flip floppy. You know what I'm saying? It don't show no favoritism. The same laws that uplift you condemn you. You know what I'm saying? The same laws that give you liberty give you bondage. You know what I'm saying? It don't show no favoritism. But she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all the unjust and wicked things, and all men do well like of her works. And all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness, like I just said. The law uplifts you, and then it condemns you at the same time. Because 1 John chapter 3 verse 4 it says, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And it says in 1 Esdras chapter 4 verse 40, neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness, and she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. You know what I'm saying? And this man is living in captivity in Babylon, and not only did he have the boldness to say these such things, but it was ultimately through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua that he had the wisdom to speak and articulate himself eloquently and descriptively when expounding upon the truth. And that was very important, because the men before him said that the first man said that wine is the strongest. And he said that wine was the strongest because it changes. It once you've had enough wine, it alters your mind. It can't have control over you. The second one says that the king is the strongest. Why? Because the king, just to sum up his whole explanation, the fear that the king holds, the fear that the king gets from his subjects keeps them in check. Majority of the time, not only fear, but also the reverence that he gets from his subjects keeps them in check. But this man says that women are the strongest, but although women are the strongest, above the woman, the truth gets the victory. You know what I'm saying? And he goes on, like he said, like what did you say about the women? He says in 1 Esdras chapter 4 verse 26, Yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits. Salaki. Yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred and sinned for women. Like, and that's facts. You see that going on today. It's a lot of simping going on. Not only simping, pimping, and strong slipping. You know what I'm saying, folks? Folks, a lot of you see a lot of Jakes out here, and when I say Jakes, I'm talking about African American males, Hispanic males, and Native American males. You see a lot of them out here, and their sole purpose is just to accumulate as much money as they can, just to flex and look good for a woman. You know what I'm saying, or just, you know what I'm saying. That's how it is. Y'all know I ain't telling the truth. Yeah, no, I am telling the truth. But continuing on, First Esdras chapter 4, verse 40. Neither in her judgment, he's talking about the truth, neither in her judgment is unrighteousness, and she is the strength, wisdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. And I said in an older video, knowledge, wisdom, these things are always likened unto a woman. You know what I'm saying? These things are always likened unto a woman, just like the nation of Israel is likened unto a woman. Because one, I'm going to Proverbs. Proverbs. Here we go. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn ye at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make known my words unto you. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom is always likened unto a woman. So, just to conclude, First Esdras chapter 41, you know, this was happening. And with that, he held his peace, and all the people then shouted and said, great is the truth, and mighty above all things. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got a very great response from the crowd for speaking such wise words and articulating himself very eloquently. You know what I'm saying? Then said the king unto him, talking about Darius, ask what thou wilt more than is appointed in the writing, and will give it thee, because thou art found wisest, and thou shalt sit next to me, and shalt be called my cousin. Then said unto the king, remember thy vow which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem, and the day when thou camest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away of Jerusalem, which Cyprus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. And now, O Lord the King, this is that which I require, and which I desire of thee, and this is the princely liberality proceeding from thyself. I desire therefore that thou make good the vow, the performance whereof with thy own mouth thou hast vowed to the King of heaven. You know what I'm saying? And because this man was so wise, and he ultimately won the contest, he was allowed. The king allowed them to leave and go build Jerusalem back up after being it had been a while since they had been in Jerusalem, because like I just mentioned as I mentioned at the start of the video, Jerusalem was sacked by the Babylonian Empire, I believe by King Nebuchadnezzar, I believe. And then so they were carried away into Babylon. And I think the book of Daniel speaks about this, and I think maybe the prophet Jeremiah, if I'm not mistaken, but Daniel speaks of this account. and then while they're in Babylon, then the Persian Mede Empire comes in and takes over the Babylonian Empire. And this was when Belshazzar, what's his name? Belshazzar. Let me just go down. Yeah, his name was Belshazzar. That's in the reign of Belshazzar. That's when the Median Persian Empire came in and destroyed them. And this is spoken about in spoken about in Daniel chapter 8 and Daniel chapter 9. So it was because this man spoke so eloquently and wisely that the Jews that were living in there were allowed to go build Jerusalem back up. And it says, first Esdras chapter 4 verse 47. Then Darius the king stood up and kissed him and wrote letters for him unto all the treasurers and lieutenants and captains and governors, that they should safely convene on their way, both him and all those that would go with him to build Jerusalem. He wrote letters also to the lieutenants that were in Celesaria and Phoenice, and unto them in Libanus, that they should bring cedar wood from Libanus unto Jerusalem, that they should build the city with him. Moreover, he wrote for all the Jews that went out of his realm unto Jewry concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, no treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors, and that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews when they held. You know what I'm saying? They got even their land back from the Edomites. All because of this man. Ultimately through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, spoke. All he did was tell the truth. The truth is the strongest ever. I mean, not the strongest. The truth, it has victory over anything. The truth prevails always. That's why they say it's three sides to any story: his side, her side, and the truth. And I'm gonna leave you with this last scripture. This is Ecclesiasticus, or known as the Book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. But be not as a lion in thy house, nor fretlick among thy servants. Let not thy hand be stretched out to receive, and shut when thou shouldest repay. Strive for the truth unto death. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, Shalom.